Today we are picking back up with assessment tips, and we are talking about different ways to approach our assessments and certification licensure tests. If you saw our last videos, we talked about your internal critic, and we gave you tips and tricks how to keep going when you're feeling a little bit stressed or overwhelmed. This week, we are diving into picturing your person. Picturing your person means envisioning the person that you are interpreting for, or your consumer. Testing environments can be very sterile. You're in a room with a test administrator, there's lots of blank walls, and you have a screen in front of you, and everything's in 2D. This is not reflective of what we actually do in the field. Our job is much different than that, and there's much more nuance in our actual profession and career when we're out there in the real world. So in this 2D sterile environment, we have to find ways to internally encourage ourselves to keep going or to gear our interpretations toward a specific person or topic or idea. When we approach the idea of picturing a person or a consumer, it's important that you are in the deaf community. I encourage you to go to deaf events, and with things being virtual now, there's lots of options online for attending workshops, for free get-togethers, for coffee chats, or even comedy events and comedy nights online. As interpreters, we need to be in the community learning from the people who use the language. We need to be out there in the community interacting with other people and learning from them. One thing that's really helped me when taking assessments is to picture each part of the assessment as a job. It's just me out there doing what I always do with a consumer in the room with me. So I like to picture a person. This person may be someone that's a close friend, a mentor, could be your ASL teacher or your program director, someone that you're pretty familiar with, or maybe someone that you've just worked with casually. As we know, ASL interpreting really is a spectrum. So you have your more English clients all the way over to your more ASL clients and ASL users. I wholeheartedly believe and encourage you as well to think about yourself as an interpreter as being language neutral. And language neutral means that you're not going to judge anyone based on where they land on that spectrum. Our role as interpreters is to meet our consumers on that spectrum no matter where they fall. And so as we prepare for testing, and we know that the test is set up as ASL and English or transliterating, we need to think about different consumers along that spectrum. For me, I pick a deaf person that I know who is a very strong ASL user for the part of the test that is ASL. When it switches to transliterating, I think of my consumer or friend who maybe uses more English signs or prefers more of an English word order. The way the test is set up is for it to go from one segment to the other. That can be really difficult for our brain to switch from one part of that spectrum to the other part of that spectrum. So it's really great to just take a moment to breathe. And you can tell your test administrator before the test even begins, hey, between each segment, I'd like to get a drink of water, or I want to take just a moment to breathe. They do have the ability to pause the test to be able to give you that time. Don't ever feel like you have to be rushed through the test where you can't take a second to breathe, take a second to let your heart calm down, or take a second to get a drink of water. So for me, I like to picture my person, take a deep breath, think about their sign style, think about the sign choices I would use with them, and really just envision what an interpreting assignment would look like for them. It helps me calm down. It helps me think and plan my choices, and it gets me into the headspace of being able to gear my interpretation to that specific consumer's needs. One other trick that's just specific to the BEI is I know that for me personally, I like to change just my position while taking the test. So when I'm doing the ASL portion, I like to talk to the test administrator ahead of time and let them know, I want to stand during this portion. And then when I switch over to English, I like to sit. English reminds me more of being in an English classroom or being in the school environment where we tend to use more English word orders in some classes. And so sitting reminds me of that. And so I like to warn them ahead of time. This is something I'm gonna do. And that actually helps my brain to process, this is when I'm in this mode and this is when I'm in this mode. So take some time this week to journal. If you haven't checked out our videos, Small Bites talked about journaling last month, and they have some great tips and tricks for that. Journal the type of person that you would interpret for when they're on the more ASL user side, all the way over to that English side. Who are they? And what kind of sign choices would you make that are different from ASL to English? Would you do different sentence structures? Will you change all of your signing style completely? Take some time to think that out and put it on paper. Do you have a deaf person in your life that supports you, or other mentors or people that have stood behind you as in your journey to become an interpreter? Think about those people and drop a comment below about what about them has encouraged you or supported you or pushed you forward in this career. We want to know, and we want to hear from you. This last weekend, we dove into our community conversations, and we talked again about social media violence and horizontal violence in the interpreting realm, and it was incredible. We had great dialogue, and we look forward to more conversations to better uplift and elevate our community. Don't forget about our upcoming workshop on May 16th called Being a Team Player. We already have BEI CEUs approved. You can find more information on our website. This is Connect to Care, and we are excited to bring you tips and tricks about mental health in the interpreting field. Check out our YouTube for more content and our website at thegraciousmind.com. Have a great week.